There you go again, guys. So I thought I'd just do another little review. I'm just going to do it on Dad's MIG welder, just what I think about it. So it's a Magmate, and it's a 180p, so it runs on 240 volts here in New Zealand anyway. I don't know if it's anything that's been rebranded, but it's Dad picked it up quite a few, he said a few years now. I don't know, probably 10. And we mainly used to use it gasless, but just in recent times we've obviously set it up to run a bottle. So yeah, I'll turn the camera around and I'll just talk to you a little bit about it and what I think about it. Righty, so this is the welder. Once it's set up, it's not a bad machine to use, but I find this here, this dial system, with having three, it probably makes it a little bit more adjustable, but it's very confusing to use. It takes quite a bit to get it set up right. Most of the other welders that I've used have like your amperage or your voltage, and then it's had like your wire speed, but this has got like I think this controls your wire speed. That's like your current, like for your amps, and then it's also like voltage as well, which is totally different. Then it's got like a high speed and a low speed switch on it. Like it's quite a finicky one to get set up. Once you've sort of got it set up, it's all right. It does take like your big wire spool, and it comes with quite a few different light rollers and bits and pieces to a few different wire thicknesses. One thing I do like about it is this gas bottle connection. That's nice, because the one I had didn't have that. It had just like a what I had in Australia, which was a Boss Weld one. It just had like a little hose fitting on there, with the ribbed barb thing. You had to put it over and then put just a hose clamp on it. But that's nice because you can just take it on and off anytime you want. Move it around. See if we can hold that still so you can read that. So yeah. So that's what we've used to do all the body work on the Jag. So yeah, like I am quite impressed with it once you get it set up, but it's not a very user-friendly welder to get set, especially if you're an amateur. Like I haven't done bucket loads welding, like it's not as I've got 20 or 30 years experience. I've learnt, I played around with it, off and on. I might have used, probably in the last 20 years, probably the first 10 I probably used, welder probably once or twice a year, and then it's only been in recent times, probably the last 4 or 5 or 6, that I've used a welder reasonably regularly. But I'm no pro, but I've found this one probably the most awkward to set up. But I did use this on my VC, gasless, and I did manage to get it to weld alright, even with the gasless wire. But my Boss Weld one in Australia, to compare it to, like, it was so much easier to set up. It was night and day compared with that. But yeah, like all in all, like once you got it set, it seems to weld nice, everything seems to work alright. Dad's had it a long time, we haven't had any major problems with it at all. The handpiece laid up a little bit the other day, like when I was pulling the trigger, it was, for some reason it wasn't, it was sparking, but it wasn't feeding the wire. But there must have been a bit of shit in the trigger, just with dust and grinding and stuff like that. So we just had to give that a bit of a clean, and it come right again. But apart from that, it's been good. Like as I said, he's had it for a fair while. When he stopped doing restorations on trucks, they kept his old welder, and he bought another one. They gave him like they bought quite a lot of his tools when he was at the truck museum here in Invercargill. They bought a lot of his sort of tools like this, and he went and bought some new stuff with what they paid to get it. So he had fresh stuff, not stuff that had been used all the time. But yeah, so it's not a bad little welder. I can't remember what he said he paid for it, but like the welders nowadays are quite a bit cheaper. But if you happen to come across one of these second hand and looking at it, yeah, it's just one of those things. If you haven't done a lot of welding, it's probably going to be a little tricky to set up for a start off. But if you're wondering and have got one, that's where we've got this set up for doing panel steel. If you can read all those dials, so that's 16, 70, and the wire speed is sort of between 1 and 2, sort of heading towards the 2 mark. Alright guys, cheers.